what y'all want to hear, because I can only beg you for money and to participate so much. And Ronnie said, why don't you talk about where the money goes, and that people would be interested in knowing where the money goes that you give. So I started looking at that, and it was very vast, so it was very hard to try to figure out how to bring it down. And what I really wanted to do was to basically take you to the web page and on the computer, but we don't have our projector yet. So I copied some of the pages. So I'm going to keep it real broad as to what we do. You can go to the website and just get as specific as you want to find out where the money is. But I thought this first page was important. A lot of people want to know what is the percentage of money that's actually used for the cause versus administrative and that kind of thing. And as far as donor stewardship, the ADA meets or exceeds relevant watchdog standards in its allocation of donor dollars. According to the BBB, Wise Giving Alliance, nonprofit organizations should spend at least 65% of their total expenses on program activities, with remaining funds going to administrative and fundraising. The ADA continues to meet and exceed those minimum standards, with 75% of our total annual expenses going to research, information, and advocacy. And I think that's great. And we do work very, very hard when we're putting together our events to try to keep our event expenses at only like 10% of the goal of the event, which isn't easy to do. That's why, we're always asking for sponsors, and we're always asking for donations of services and things, because we are trying to keep that expense so low so we can keep up with the 75%. Where it goes, it helps fund research to prevent, cure, and manage diabetes, deliver services to hundreds of communities, provide objective and credible information, and give voice to those denied their rights because of diabetes. And this information is, when you go online to sign up to be a part of Step Out, there's a whole tab that you can click on about where the money goes. And it gets divided up then into our programs, advocacy, and our funded research studies. So just to hit on the big topics, the next page is just a little quick thing about our community programs. Because, of course, awareness is the biggest way to help prevent this disease. People have got to be aware of it, know about it, and hopefully support the cause. Our programs are on the next page. First of all, helping people know what their risk is, a diabetes risk test that we put out on the internet and on brochures. We sponsor American Diabetes Month in November. We have specific African American programs and specific Latino programs and specific Native American programs, because if you look at the demographics of this disease, it affects the Hispanic community, Native American community first, then the Hispanic community, then the Black community, and then the white community. So they have specific programs for those top three demographics that they're able to do. They have a special one called La Familia that's a Hispanic outreach, and they do in a lot of the bigger communities, kind of like a Mex-Tex type thing. So we have specific programs for that. I Decided to Fight Diabetes is another program that I'm not super familiar with. That's a new one we're starting. Winning at Work is a program where we're able to give information to corporations that they can put in the break rooms, that we can come and speak. There's brochures on how to take care of yourself even though you're working full time, that type of thing, how to be preventive. The next area that money goes to is for advocacy efforts. We want people to know their rights that are living with diabetes. Where can you turn if you feel you've been treated unfairly due to your diabetes? We are committed to end discrimination against children and adults with diabetes. You can be your own best advocate by knowing your rights, understanding the law, and protecting yourself. And you can go and see all these laws and all that information on the website. But you can find out how to get help. If you feel you're being discriminated against, we'll fight for you. We've got lawyers and attorneys that will help out. I've mentioned before how we were having some issues in Ector County schools where children were not being given their rights that they're supposed to have in schools with dealing with their diabetes, like they're supposed to be able to test in class and that type of thing. We were having some issues over there, and so we got the advocacy people from Austin to come down, and we did a program where we invited the school nurses and the school board and parents of kids with diabetes, so they know this is what they're supposed to be getting. And if they're not getting that, we need to know about it. And it has gotten better as a result of that program. That was 2 years ago, and it has gotten a lot better because of that. So they will advocate for you or the children that need it, that need that. Then the next is I'm not sure. Is this week? Is it Shaw's next page?
This busy one? Yeah.
Okay. It's been a week since I looked at this because I was supposed to. This is just, I wanted to just basically give you the screenshot because this shows you all the different areas you can click on as far as that, but mainly where it says we have a research database, okay? You can actually go and look for a specific researcher or a specific program that's being researched. I mean, and it's vast and extensive. That's why I couldn't print it all. But I brought one from going to that, which is the next page, because this is one that is very close to us. And this is a doctor that is at Texas Tech University Health Science Center in Lubbock that our funding grants are going toward. So when we say your money's not going that far away, it's not. It's going as far as Lubbock for a research grant there. And this just happens to be what she's working on, the contribution of bacterial biofilms to non-healing diabetic wounds in both type 2. They're very specific, and we won't get into that because that's all, that's medical speak. But basically, that is what she is specifically working on, because people who have diabetes have a hard time with healing, and so they're trying to work on that and make that better. But it describes the research project and ask, what areas of diabetes research does this cover? If a person with diabetes were to ask you how your project will help them in the future, how would you respond? And anyway, you can look for specific things on the website and specific researchers and see what's going on, see what they're doing, and see how many projects the ADA funds. And just on the last page, I've given this to you guys before, but the bottom half basically talks about what we've done. ADA's commitments both significant and measurable. More than 4,000 research projects funded since 1952. Since 1980, over $400 million invested in research. Funded research more than doubling in the last 7 years. 408 ADA funded research projects nationwide, and your return on the investment. Those are all examples of things we have gotten. Of course, the invention of the first glucose meter, which is vital for life for a diabetic. The research on relationship between nutrition and diabetes, the introduction of more effective insulin. There's tons and tons, and these are just some of the major ones. Like transplantation of new insulin-producing cells from the donor pancreas. That's huge. And as you know, they're starting to do partial pancreatic transplants because they eventually because the problem with diabetes is in the pancreas. And it's just like any other part. If we could replace it and it will function correctly, then it's gone. So that's, that will be huge when that can happen.
They can't transplant, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm actually done.
They can't transplant a pancreas?
Not a whole pancreas.
Not yet.
No, but they do partial right now, and maybe eventually whole. But, different parts of the body, I don't know exactly how like the liver, the liver doesn't actually age. Like Rex had the potential of getting a liver from a 70-year-old man, and he was a little concerned about that. Well, that your liver does not age like some of the other parts of the body does, and I don't know, the pancreas may. So it may be a lot more narrow what you have to work with. I don't know all of the ins and outs of all the medical stuff.